Welcome to the live webinar, Key Lessons, your key to success in positive reinforcement horse training. So, I decided to develop an 8-week course that will solve all of this. Like, do you want to feel confident in training your own horse? Then you're in the right place. Do you want to become knowledgeable and skilled about positive reinforcement? That's what this course is all about. Do you want to have a plan ready when things don't work out? I personally think that is just so handy to know what to do if you get stuck, and that's what I'm going to teach you in the course. Do you want to or would you like to have an accountability partner to keep you motivated and on track in training? And this is so funny because the cat is sitting behind my laptop and he's just peeking over my my screen, so it's very funny. Do you want to have your own tribe with like-minded people who are learning the same things you are learning? And do you want to have a personal go-to expert available in a Facebook group? And do you want to feel successful as a horse owner? Well, then stay tuned, because that's what this course is all about. The content of this webinar, I will introduce myself. I will show you how I create a system in my training, how it helped me, and I would like for you, all of you, to create a system in your training. Then I'm going to talk about the key lessons, the keys to success, why I called them the key lessons, and then I'll talk about the 6 key lessons for trainers, a training plan, shaping behaviors, training journal, timing, accountability partner, emotions in training, not only human emotions, but also emotions of your horse. And then I will talk about the key lessons for horses, table manners for horses, teach your horse to be patient, targeting, the most versatile exercise, mat training, targeting with hooves, head lowering to keep calm, and backing for safety and agility. And then at the end, I will talk about the price and the value of this 8-week course where this webinar is based upon, and how you can sign up, of course. So who am I? Who is Sandra Poppema? I'm born in the Netherlands, and I moved to Canada with my husband and our son, our 2 cats, and my horse in 2012. I studied animal management. I have a Bachelor of Science in Animal Management, which has a focus on welfare of animal and animal-human relationship. I'm the founder of HippoLogic, and it became an international horse training and coaching company when I moved to Canada, and I didn't have a network at all in Canada, and I decided to connect to my old clients in Europe. So now I have online clients in Belgium, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Spain, Italy, Australia, Canada, and the United States, so which is very, very cool. I'm also the founder of the Equine Clicker Training Network in BC, and that's an online Facebook group, and it's called the Happy Herd, because I want the person to be a little herd with the horse. And what I do is I connect people with their inner wisdom, and I teach them the principles of learning and motivation, so they become skilled and confident to train their own horse in a safe and effective way that is fun for both horse and human, because I'm always aiming for win-win situations. And how I do that is by providing one-on-one coaching, an online course, this 8-week course, and also I have free resources for everybody, like my blog or my YouTube channel. I've been a riding instructor and horse trainer for over 25 years. I like to read and I like to write, so I became a blogger when I got my wild horse, Kira, who is in the picture here. I started to take my training journal online, and that's how I started blogging. Now I changed it to an online blog full of resources how to clicker train your horse. I'm the author of 3 books. One of the books is, my latest book is an ebook called Key Lessons, Your Key to Success in Positive Reinforcement Training. And I published numerous articles in 8 different magazines. In January this year, I got awarded for the top 75 horse training blogs, which I'm really excited about, because I'm so excited about that a positive reinforcement blog can get an award. And I tamed and trained a wild horse in 2009. That's Kira. She was born in a nature reserve, and when I got her, she was totally feral, and she was so afraid of humans, and that's how it really started to become how I developed my HippoLogic training system, which is based on the key lessons. So the key lessons, your key to success, what is it and why did I choose to call them key lessons? Well, first, they are just exercises, and basically they are your goals. But they are much, much more than that, because in the second phase, in the first phase, if you start with Clicker Trainer, those exercises, the key lessons for horses, those will be your goals. And once your horse masters those exercises, then it's becoming more interesting, because then you can use them as your tools. They become your method. And then in the next level, when you are so used to using these exercises as training tools, then they become your strategy to success. And that's why I called them key lessons, your key to success. So this is how I created a system in my own training. This is what works for me. When I got Kira, every time when I met her for the first time, she was in a stall, and every time I opened the door of the stall, she tried to climb over the wall on the opposite corner. That's how afraid she was. But I said yes to her because she was a Cruzado, and I always wanted an Andalusian, so I could participate as a rider in the Andalusian show team that I was a member of. So in this system was you have to start to think, what is your dream? So my dream was becoming a rider and show audience, horse people, how beautiful dressage can be, especially classical dressage. We had demonstrations of long reining, also like with higher classical exercises like the levade. We had people doing trick training with their horses, and it was so awesome to be a part of that. So when I was looking for a horse, that was my dream, to participate in that team as a rider. So the next step is to write everything down. Well, Kira didn't know anything. So I made a really long list of all the behaviors that my goal contained, like my long-term goal, because Kira was 11 months. So in order to ride her, well, what's the step before riding? Well, I had to bridle her, but before bridling, what comes before that? Haltering. But before haltering, because I couldn't halter her, what comes before that? Approaching the horse, or maybe even that she's not afraid of me anymore. So that's how I made a really, really long list with like many, many behaviors. And then the next step was planning. I had to decide what I had to train first. Well, in Kira's situation, I had to train her, I had to tame her first. So that's what I did. And with the help of my accountability partner, who helped me divide my goals into smaller steps, which was really, really valuable. So I had to decide what to train first. And then, well, first was to teach her that I was not a threat and that I was not going to hurt her. And then if you know what behavior you want to train, you pick that behavior, and then you have to divide that behavior into trainable steps. how to shape the behavior. So that will be your shaping plan. Then you go to the next box, and that's practicing, because you always have to practice, because you can write it down and it's very, very valuable, but you don't know how your horse will react. So you have to practice it, put the theory into practice. So you go to practice, and then after the practice, you evaluate how did it go. You don't write down what went wrong, but it's also very powerful to write down what went well. Because if you know what went well, and that's what I did with Kira, I could recreate the same successes in other horses, which was super powerful and just accelerated my training successes. So once you evaluate, you know what to adjust if you have to adjust something, so you can go up, and you can, maybe you have to adjust your dream, or you have to go to planning, and maybe you plan to teach your horse targeting first. But while you were practicing, you noticed that your horse doesn't behave safely around food. So then you adjust your plan, and then you go to shape your new behavior, your next goal. And this is basically your whole system. The key lessons for trainers is having a training plan, how to shape behaviors, your training journal, which is not a diary, it's a journal in which you can keep track of your successes. Timing in training, I will talk about that later. Your accountability partner. I had a super, super awesome coach at the time who helped me like divide everything into little steps to help me make a clear vision for me and Kira, what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. So that always keeps me on track. And emotions in training. Not only equine emotions, but also human emotions. What to do when you get stuck, what to do when you get frustrated, what to do when you are happy, because that's valuable too. The key lessons for horses. Like I said, in the beginning, it just looked like normal exercises, but they're not. The table manners for horses. We have teach a horse to be patient. We have targeting, mat training, head lowering, and backing. And I will talk about every one of them. Key lessons, the table manners. That's how, when it's a goal, you teach your horse how to behave safely around food, how to not mug you. But also there are a lot of emotions evolved when you start using food in your training, because horses can get really excited when they smell the treat. And a normal behavior is because they are grazers. Food is available to them in nature all the time. So if they see a treat, if they smell a treat, if they know you have a treat, it's just normal, natural exploration behavior to go look for the treat and get it. So if you teach a horse safe manners around food, that's the goal at first, but how you use it into a training tool is because you are training impulse control. You teach your horse that he cannot have the treat yet, that he has to wait for the click, and then he can have a treat. And later on in training, impulse control will become very, very valuable, because your horse has to wait for your cue. He is not allowed to just throw on behaviors and then expect treats for them. No, the rule is you have to wait for the cue, and then you might get a click and a treat. So it's very, very powerful once you know how to use it as a method as well. The next key lesson, and they are not going in this order, it all depends on the horse which you train first. Patience is standing next to your horse, and your horse has to stand quietly and wait for your cues. He has to act patiently. That's a human thing, a human label, I know, but I think it's very valuable, because you have to teach your horse to wait for your cues. In the beginning, it's just this goal. This is the goal, that your horse stands next to you with his head straight, not mugging you. There you have the table manners. But in order to train it and use it as a training tool, you can turn this behavior into a default behavior. And once it's a default behavior, it can become a powerful communication tool for your horse to let you know whenever you ask something and it's too difficult and he gets frustrated, he will go to his default behavior, and that's a sign for you, oh, maybe he's frustrating, maybe I'm lumping, maybe I'm going too fast. And it's also behavior never stops, so you better teach him what a safe behavior is for the times that you don't ask for a specific behavior. The next key lesson, targeting. It's a super cool exercise. It's the most versatile exercise I know. In targeting, you teach your horse to touch a target with his nose, like in the picture. That's the goal at first. But once you have taught that, the target stick becomes a very, very powerful tool, because then you can hold up the target and entice your horse to move toward the target, and then you can click for that behavior. So you use the target stick as a tool, not as a goal anymore, to create the walk, to create trot, to create canter, to create head lowering, to create backing. So the target goes from being a goal to being a training tool. And that's really, really cool. Mat training. Mat training is targeting with the hooves. So it's the same idea. You teach your horse to stand on an object with his hooves. Once he knows that, you can change the mat for a piece of plywood, or for a hoof jack, or a trailer ramp, or something else. If you are riding on a trail and there's a wooden bridge that he has never seen, you can use mat training. It's targeting for the feet to teach him it's safe. And once you taught your horse to target, you can also teach him to target from his nose, to target other body parts like the hip or the knee, and you can create more complex behaviors. Number 5, head lowering. Head lowering is a really powerful exercise because you can calm your horse down with lowering his head, because in nature they have their head near the ground when they're grazing, and because they are always calm when they're grazing, it gives feelings of calmness. And also, if your horse spooks, the first thing he does is throw his head up so he can run. So the lower the head, the bigger more time you have to, if you have a really spooky horse. Then if he startled with something, first thing that will happen is the head will go up. So it's also a really powerful indication about his emotions. And also it can help you ask him to investigate things, to encourage him to explore new things, because you can ask like head lowering if there's a new object on the ground, or you can use targeting, or you can use a combination. So that's how you use head lowering as a method. It's also a very powerful exercise to teach your horse to stretch his neck and his back while you're riding. And the last key lesson for horses is backing. Backing, if your horse can back up on cue, it's very, very handy, because it will improve your safety. And if there's a gate that you want to lead your horse through, and the gate goes inward, then it's easy to ask your horse to back up. It's also very handy if you have loaded your horse into a trailer, and that he can go backwards and unload himself. I've seen that a few times in my life where horses wanted to go in the trailer, but they were never taught to go out of the trailer, which creates a real problem. The training plan, it's so cool because once you know the science behind writing things down, once you've written things down, your goals, your unconscious starts working on those goals, and you will notice that you will find resources or the best instructor, or you will find a video because you know it will fit in your training plan. And once you've written it down, it's also very easy to say to other things that are really interesting, like, oh, I want to learn how to jump with my horse, and then you think back, no, my training plan, that's not really in my long-term goal. So I let that go for now, and I concentrate on what I do want. The shaping plan, this is a very simple example of a shaping plan, because a shaping plan is dividing your goal behavior into tiny trainable steps. So once you can do that, and you notice frustration in your horse, or he walks away from you, you know that you're probably lumping and that you make the steps too big. So you go back to the drawing table and you start, what is, how can I lower my criteria in order to let my horse be successful again? And because you've written it down, it's way more clear in your head than if you don't write it down. Timing is everything, especially when you clicker train, because the marker signal, the click, will mark the desired behavior. Not only is timing very important for the marker signal, it's also very, very important for how to time your reinforcer, because after the click, still behavior is going to happen, because that never stops until the horse is passed away. So you also want to time your delivery of the reinforcer. And besides that, timing is also very important, what to train in what moment. Sometimes the environment changes, so you have to adjust your training plan. So timing is very, very important. Accountability. I love accountability because I have learned that I really always need a coach. I need somebody that gives me perspective on my training. I need somebody who asks me, why are you training this? Can you explain it? Because if I can explain it and I speak it out loud, it becomes clear for me too. And with an accountability partner, it's often that you can you hear your own advice, you hear what your thoughts are, and also an accountability helps you to place things in perspective if you get frustrated or you feel stuck. Accountability partners is really, for me, the way to keep momentum and to feel successful. So that's really, really important. That's why I call it a key lesson. Make yourself accountable, look for somebody who keeps you accountable. Emotions in training, very, very important. Like in traditional training, and also natural horsemanship training, we have learned to suppress the feelings, especially the feelings of the horse. Because if he doesn't want to do it, just ask again. And if he doesn't want to do it, you have to make him do it. But positive reinforcement gives the horse the freedom to express his feelings. And if you learn about his frustrations and fears and happiness in an early stage of training, you can use that valuable information to make your training better for you and for your horse. So it's very, very important. Also, emotions of the trainer are very important, because I have learned if I feel frustration, the best thing I can do is to stop the training, or just ask something very, very simple so my horse can be successful before I stop the training. But keep going and suppressing my frustration never helped me become a better trainer. It's the opposite. And that goes against what we've always learned. So that's why I address that. What else are we going to learn in the 8-week course? Knowledge about motivating the horse, motivating yourself, about high value treats, low value treats, the rate of reinforcement, everything you need to know about how to reinforce your horse. So in the 8-week online course, it's called Key Lessons, Your Key to Success in Horse Training, because positive reinforcement horse training didn't fit. So I had to make it work this way. What does it contain? 8 weekly webinars. They're about 2 hours. So in total, 16 hours of live online training. Each key lesson for horses. I want you to train each key lesson, and I will evaluate your homework, and I will give you a step-by-step training video so you know what to expect. I will create a Facebook group to connect you with your tribe, and where you can share your training videos, get feedback, questions, and get tailored expert advice. You also get a workbook with templates of my proven success strategies. So the templates of shaping plan, how do you do that, your training plan, a logbook, and everything else. Then I'll give you the bonus, the ebook Key Lessons, Your Key to Success in Equine Clicker Training. Because when I wrote the book, that's how I based this course on. Bonus number 2 is lifetime access to all course materials. Of course, they will be yours, but also lifetime access to all the updates of the course, because I will run live online webinars. If you cannot attend the live training, you will have access to the recording. But the next time I will offer this course, I will have upgraded the training, because I get experience in this course too, and I will make it better and improve it and improve it and improve it. And every time I offer this course, you get the opportunity to jump on that train again, because 8 weeks is too short to get all the experience of this. So the real value here, I'm not talking about the dollars yet, but the real value is in this course, you will learn to train your own horse in a safe and effective way that's fun for you and your horse. You will learn how you can become more confident about your training, because you will learn what your pitfalls are, how to avoid them, and how to overcome them if you're in them. You will get a tribe with like-minded people who are learning the same things in the same way you do. So every time you connect with one of the people in the group, they just know what you're talking about. You don't have to defend the positive reinforcement. You don't have to explain it. No, you're all on the same page, which I really, really looking forward to. So don't underestimate the power of accountability, and it keeps you in the game too. Like if you see everybody else is moving on to the next exercise, you want to do it too. You have that power of the group, which is very, very important. You have your own expert available. That will be me, with 20+ years of experience in horse training and clicker training, and also someone who reviews your homework, because you will make your training videos about the key lessons and I will review them. And you can do this course over and over to get the experience you need until you can do it on your own. I will hold your hand until you're ready to let go of me. And that's what I want. I want you to become as experienced as I am, and I want all my students to become better trainers than I am, because they have the advantage that they don't have to make the mistakes that I made in the past 20 years. So what's the price? Okay, let's talk some dollars. 8 2-hour webinars. Then we have the Facebook group for tailored expert advice. Then we have step-by-step training videos, and you will get the workbook with all the templates. So that will be the value of all these things is $4,350. Then you get some bonus materials, which is the key book, Key Lessons, Your Key to Success in Equine Clicker Training. I've printed it out. I forgot to, it's on the other side of the room. I printed it out and it's really nice to make notes. You get lifetime access to our Facebook group, and you will get lifetime access to all the updates of this course. So if I run this course for the second time, I will notice you and you will get an email like next week or in 2 weeks, we will start the course again. This is the dates and the times of the live webinars. So how much? Of course, in Canadian dollars, which is very friendly for people who earn euros or US dollars. The total price would be $6,177, but your price, because it's the first time, will be $997, and that includes all the updates, and I'm planning to run this course for years and improve it and improve it and improve it until it's ready to become an instructor's course.